I see far too much fiction out there that does not understand how corsets work. Now, I do encourage you, if you are an author and you are writing about a time period where people are going to wear corsets, and for some reason you feel the need to reference the garment, please actually do some historical research. A lot of the times what people refer to as corsets are not even corsets. They're stays or bodies because they are pre-corset era. And if you would like sources for the history of corsetry, please check out creators like Abby Cox and Bernadette Banner. There's an entire multiverse of dress historians here on YouTube. You can find someone who will teach you the history. But I have worn corsets semi-regularly while doing tours in New Orleans, as in shouting history at strangers on the side of the road. So I have some experience with the effects on the human body of wearing a corset. So I'm going to give you a primer of just like how your female characters will likely act in these garments. And we're going to start with a basic intro to the anatomy of a corset. This is a corset. These are the laces. Here are the grommets. This one has metal grommets. If you are going back in history, not all corsets had metal grommets. There were time periods when these did not exist. And without the metal, you can't really pull a corset super duper tight. So that is something to pay attention to. If you are pre-metal grommets, tight lacing is not a thing. But there's also boning. In these little channels here, there are bones. This corset has sprung steel boning. Some corsets back in the day would have had whalebone. Generally, you're not going to find that anymore because it's not good for whales. But you will find plastic boning, like is in this one, that my friend who is in grad school for dress history and made this corset swears up and down that the plastic boning is the closest structurally to what whalebone felt like. Historically, you might also find reeds and cording as in actual cords sewn into your corset to hold it stiff. But you'll also notice that all of this is pretty flexible. Corsets bend a lot because they have to fit to the human form, which bends. There is a relatively stiff point, and that is right here, the busk. The busk is the part that usually has the closure on it in a modern corset. These are split busk corsets. Without the split in the busk, there's no front opening, and therefore you have to completely unlace it, or at least half unlace it to get into it, but I don't have any of those. You'll also find that most busk corsets have these hook and eye style closures, and this is the part that's relatively stiff. But notice even this. I can bend it, because the human body bends. Next, we'll get into what it's like to put on a corset.